G'day. Microsoft announces new Copilot copyright commitments. Visual Studio for Mac is retiring. And Bun 1.0 has arrived. All this and more. I'm Adam Cogan. Let's jump into the SSW Tech News. G'day, I'm Adam Cogan, and this is the Tech News for September 2023. And what do we have? Well, I'll tell you first, we have a great session on tonight. It is vertical slice architecture. So let's go and have a look at this. This is being done by Luke Parker, and he's talking about vertical slice architecture and comparing it to clean architecture. This should be a really good session. It's super important, super valuable. It underpins almost all the .NET projects we do at SSW. There's a lot of talk about how to do clean architecture right, whether it should be separated down the new vertical slice architecture route. So that'll be a really fascinating talk. I will also tell you a bit of news. On our homepage, we now have a GPT-powered assistant. So instead of the old one where we had to kind of program every type of conversation, it's now as smart as ChatGPT, and I could say, can you do an Angular project? Let's see if it can handle a spelling mistake. Absolutely, doesn't care about spelling mistakes. It can help you or book in the right thing. If I say, can you do woodworking classes? And look how fast, look how clear it is with things it can't do. You know, I'm sorry for the confusion. We don't do that type of stuff. So it's really smart and awesome. Now, a few months ago, I blogged how I did a talk on using GPT and OpenAI and how to do that. You can watch the talk and I explain how to do that. But Microsoft have released something which is pretty cool. It's called Demystifying Retrieval Augmented Generation with .NET. And basically what it's saying is that they have the ability to build a cool ChatGPT-like engine, and they simplify all the embeddings and the vector databases. So this is definitely worth checking out. What's some other news we have? Well, here's the big news. We've all been wanting to use ChatGPT and Copilot and all this and use it for code in our projects. If you're using Copilot, Microsoft have announced that they are guaranteeing that you can use that. You can take the code without worrying whether you're violating any copyright stuff. They will deal with this. I can tell you, running a software company, our insurance company sent us questions to answer, wanting to know if any of the code we generate for customers comes from, any AI services, because they're frightened of that and they don't want that to happen. And but they did have an exception that if it's coming from Copilot Business, that's fine. So that's worth understanding. Now, here is some news that took me by surprise. Microsoft have Visual Studio for Mac. It's been used for a long time. It should be probably called Visual Studio for Xamarin because it was helping with mobile projects. And Maui developers have been using this and been happy. Microsoft have said no, off this and onto VS Code. VS Code can pretty much do it all. It has a few extensions which are very new, so it's unusual that they'd push so early and so hard, but we have a year to get off this. I guess some Maui developers are going to say, hey, it's not feature parity. We're missing hot reload and a few bits like that. So I can't imagine everyone's going to be happy with this. But I guess they're really wanting to, they probably made some internal decision that they're not going to keep adding to this. So they want people to start understanding they're moving people. So that's happened. Next one. This is an interesting one. External REST endpoint invocation. Now, what you might notice is it's coming from the SQL Server team. See there? Now, with SQL Server, if you ever wanted it to do some C# code, you can call a CLR extension, but that was turned off on most on-premise SQL servers because it has security concerns. It can do anything. So what they've done is this talks about how they've added a system stored procedure, and that system stored procedure can call a HTTP endpoint. Not just anyone, they've actually kind of whitelisted it to a series here. So for example, if you want to call a Power BI endpoint, you can do that from a stored procedure. You can actually call one of your own as long as it's hosted here on Azure. So that's interesting and that's cool, and I'm glad they've done that. There certainly are many use cases because it's new and we hadn't really been thinking about doing this. Triggers are a little bit hidden. There's going to be plenty of times you generally don't want to do this, but for other cases, this might be really interesting. I've always loved triggers ever since I learned about them a long time ago, but then I found the managing of them tricky because people forgot they were there and they'd get really confused what was happening. Next piece of news, Bun 1.0. Whoa, what is this? Well, I tell you what, it's a cool name, that's for sure. If you are using JavaScript and TypeScript a lot and you're building full stack applications, you're going to want to look at this 1.0 release. People develop a lot on Node.js, and this is kind of the new Node.js. It is a lot faster, as you can see, five times faster here. It's also a bundler. It's also a package manager. I'm sure people are going to come up with some fun puns on this. Bun time, you know, because it's like a runtime. What's the best way to learn this in, just a couple of minutes? I would always say, Fireship, this guy's awesome.
But as the name implies, Bun is also a bundler. The Bun build command will take all your source files and then combine them into a single output that can be used in a browser.
Yeah, and it's just, he's awesome at teaching you things quickly. Remember when we used to think Webpack was fast? Look how much faster this is. Like, that is crazy, way faster. All right. Now, next piece of news, v0.dev. Now, talk about unusual names. That's unique. v0.dev. Now, how does this thing work? Well, you know how we can use, say, Midjourney to create images. I like if I go back here, this talk I did, I'll just quickly go to this. That cool image here, it was done in Midjourney. So, and I'm not a person that can use Photoshop at all. So now with this V0 thing, a product owner with no front-end skills can start doing things. So I'll go up to the beginning here just to get a bit of an idea, just to show you the story. So they've got this grid and they say, change the download drop-down into a button instead with a relevant icon too. Make the category tags with a less rounded corner. Look at that. Natural language will change this. What's the next thing? For the 3 dots drop-down, turn that into a 3 dots drop-down menu with the following options. Edit, share, delete, Use proper icons for them as well. And like you can see, change the 3 dots pop-over menu. This is incredible that you can go through and make your own UI by typing. I've never seen anything like this. And even using ChatGPT a lot of times, every single day of my life, I was astounded when I saw this, just a tool like this. It's just incredible. And if you want to know more about it, there is this 11-minute video by Theo. It's a great video. We'll take you through the whole thing. The connection between ChatGPT and front-end code generation will really surprise you. Next piece of news, PowerToys. I don't know how many people have PowerToys installed. We used to always do it, but there is a little bit of news here. So when you have a big screen like this, and you only want to do this bit where the red box is, you can turn that into its own window focused on that area. So for example, you have the whole window here. You then select the section you want, see the red box, and say, I want that, and that becomes your window. For recording videos or presenting something in a sprint review, It makes your screen very clean. And if you want to put that in perspective, here's the same feature, crop and lock, and you can see that with the other PowerToys. There's a lot of PowerToys there. This is very useful. Next piece of news, we have to have a mention of Elon. I don't think we've had news for some years now without Elon, but he's making a very large supercomputer called Dojo. It is for all their autonomous driving. It is pretty incredible. All this is powered by NVIDIA, so they're making a lot of money. The amount of Tesla compute is extraordinary, unbelievable. Alrighty, now we like to end with some fun. I don't know if you'll call this fun, but there was some news from Unity. Unity is the best platform to develop games. They came up with a great new pricing model. And what was the pricing model? Well, you can have a bit of a read what the pricing model was, but it was essentially, under Unity's new approach, developers utilizing the free tier of Unity's development services will be required to pay Unity 20 cents per installation. Doesn't matter if you sell it or not, it's per installation. Yeah, and I think all Unity developers were very happy with this announcement. Well, that's what management thought, and they were obviously surprised when the community were unhappy, and you can imagine what went on Twitter. Well, there was a new announcement, and Unity did some blog posts explaining that it was all a misunderstanding. They were reversing it. Their CEO made a little mistake. It sounds like he's leaving. And they say, we apologize for the confusion about that runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday. And then they come back and they say, hey, we have a new tentative plan, because we've lost our guts. Unity will be limiting it to 4% of the game's revenue, but only for successful games that get over $1 million. Okay, and they're all probably internally saying, oh, this is so unfair. Apple can charge 30% of every dollar that anyone makes. That's the story. And now the community will be all upset with Unity forever, even if they ask for $1. So anyway, that's this month's news. If you have more news, or I've missed something, or you disagree, throw it down there in the comments. We all love to learn. We have this and a whole lot of other videos on SSW TV. Grab them, learn. Tell us what you're enjoying and what you're not enjoying. And I will see you in the next one. This is Adam Cogan signing off for SSW TV.